Hi, welcome to Street Priest Ministries. I'm your host, Brother James. We're taking the Gospels back to the streets. Today's drive-through message is, on his vesture and on his thigh, name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Today we are living in the end times, and I felt in my spirit to teach on the last days as I watch prophetic events unfold almost on a daily basis. And a lot of the pieces to God's prophetic puzzle is being fulfilled in our lifetime, in this very day. Now, I've taught on the whole book of Revelation, get the Apocalypse series. But here I'm focusing because Israel in the Middle East is going to be the focal of end-time prophetic events. So I felt the need to teach on these things again because the temple is being discussed right now, being built. It's been in the plans and networks. And part of the Antichrist peace treaty is going to be for them to build a temple. It's going to deceive them. The Jews want their temple. They missed their Messiah. The Bible made that clear with the Jews. Paul said they're blind. For our sake, this is the age of the Gentiles, the Gentile church. But God's going to return to the Abrahamic promises, and he's going to fulfill in the Jews what he promised through Abraham. And the Bible calls us, the church, a wild branch grafted onto the Abrahamic tree of promises. That's what Paul said. But he's going to return to the natural branch, which is Israel. This land is going to be, as we're about to refocus on in these end times, in these last days, as this nation's going to be hated. And the stage is being set now. And the world's going to come up against Israel. And God's going to send his son, the executioner. That's what we're about to read here. To execute judgment on the nations of this earth to come against his people, still his people. Even though they've didn't recognize their Messiah, crucified, God's going to return to dealing with his people. All right, so we're going to start in Zechariah 12:1. So turn into Zechariah 12:1. It's amazing to see prophecies being fulfilled that was prophesied thousands of years ago, happening right before our very eyes. The Bible said, forever, O Lord, thy word is settled in heaven. God said, I will hasten my word to perform it. He said, my word will not return unto me void. It will execute what I've set out for it to execute. And God speaks the future and the past. And we're living in prophetic times. And I suggest you as Christians get your house in order. Like I said, a lot of the major prophetic pieces of the puzzle has already been fulfilled. It's just this temple here that they're craving for. There's reports that Ron White discovered the Ark a long time ago. So they have the original Ark of the Covenant. They are making a lot of the utensils for the temple. They want their temple. So keep an eye on this prophetic event as it unfolds in real time. Okay, Zechariah 12:1. The burden of the word of the Lord. Yes, it is. It's the burden of the word of the Lord. The burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, saith the Lord, which stretcheth forth the heavens. God created the heavens. Stretch forth the expanse deep. Those stars you see, yeah, he made that. In my teaching, I'm taught a lot on creation. Plenty of teaching on that. Just look it up. Proving God created this earth, the heavens, the stars, the expanse, the heights of sand. The universe is constantly expanding. That's what God said. He called it the expanse. It's constantly pushing out. The burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, saith the Lord, which stretcheth forth the heavens. It's the same thing. Which stretcheth forth the heavens, and layeth the foundation of the earth. And formeth the spirit of man within. God created us. When you die, there's an afterlife. And you got a physical form, and you got a spirit form, and a soul. That's the essence of your being. We're created three in one. You got the body, the spirit, and the soul. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about them, when they shall be in the siege, both against Judah and against Jerusalem. The whole world is going to get focused on that little dot in the Middle East called Israel. It says it's going to be a cup of trembling. In that day, I will make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. That's Armageddon. They're going to try to wipe Israel out, off the map. In that day, saith the Lord, I will smite every horse with astonishment, and his rider with madness. And when I open my eyes upon the house of Judah, and I will smite every horse of the people with blindness. And the governors of Judah shall say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength in the Lord of hosts, their God. In that day I will make the governors of Judah like an hearth of fire among wood, and I will among wood, and like a torch of fire in a sheet. And they shall devour all the people round about, on the right hand and on the left. And Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem. The Lord also shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of my inhabitants in Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. In that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as God, and the angel of the Lord before him. God's going to war to save that tiny little nation Israel. And it shall come to pass in that day I will seek to destroy all the nations that come up against Jerusalem. That's Armageddon. The valley of Megiddo. All the nations are going to descend to wipe Israel off the map, to wipe Jerusalem off the map. And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and supplication, and they shall look unto me whom they have pierced. They're going to recognize the Yeshua Mashua, their Messiah, whom they pierced. They're going to recognize Christ, whom they put on the cross over 2,000 years ago. They're going to realize that he already came as a suffering Messiah, and they missed him the first time. Now he's coming to tread the winepress of the wrath of the fierceness of God Almighty. He's coming as the Lion of Judah. They were looking for the Lion of Judah, but they missed the Lamb of God. His second return. And the spirit of grace and supplication, and they shall look upon me, They shall look up on me. This is Christ. They will look up on him, whom they pierced, whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him, as one mourneth for his only son, and shall be in bitterness for him, as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn. They're going to repent of the evil they've done to Christ and the Christians over the years. In that day shall there be a great mourning in Jerusalem, as the mourning of Hadad Driven in the valley of Megiddo, Armageddon. And Christ is going to come to defend. And we're going to read that in a minute. And the land shall mourn, and every family apart, the family of the house of David apart, and their wives apart, and the family of the house of Nathan apart, and their wives apart, the family of the house of Levi apart, and their wives apart, and the family of Shimei apart, and their wives apart. All the families that remain, every family apart, and their wives apart. Okay, so now we'll get the background here before I go to Revelation. Go to Joel 3:28. Christ is going to return. And this is just as real as me sitting. He's coming from beyond history to save the nation of Israel and all the nations. The whole United Nations hate Israel. They're a thorn in the United Nations. So all these kings of the earth hate Israel because Satan is the God of this world. And he's got all the nations turned against Israel, God's people. Two things Satan hates in this world. That's the nation of Israel that brought Christ forth, and the Christians, the fruit of Christ himself and his redemptive work. He hates the Jews and he hates the Christians. And those two have been persecuted for thousands of years through various entities of his, through various governments of his, through various nations of his, through his evil secret elite cabal. He's persecuted God's people. He hates God's people. And God got a clock set. Give my teaching, Age of the Beast, the video. God got a clock set on the kingdom of his earth and the heathen nations. Their time is about up. For his God's clock he got set for them to rule this world. Did my teaching on Ezra, the lost book of Ezra. That's what that's about. Okay, so now we're going to go to Joel 3:28. And we're living in magnificent times. The day of the Lord is at hand. And Christ recommended the Pharisees of his day, the religious bunch of his day, told them, you guys can look up at the sky and see the clouds gathering and storm forming over the ocean and the seas, and know that a storm is headed your way, but you can't see the same thing when it comes to prophetic events happening in front of your very eyes. He said, I'm prophecy standing right here. But they missed it. And a lot of people are going to miss Christ's second return. The prophetic clouds are forming right over us. Joel 3:28. One of the warnings Jesus gave us was to be alert in these last days and know when his coming is nigh. Okay, let me see Joel, where I'm going to start. Oh, 2:28, I'm sorry. Joel 2:28. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. Now that's happening now. You're having people, ordinary people, people really no theological training or anything, giving entire visions of heaven and hell, prophetic events. Just ordinary people. Go on the internet. Plenty of stories. Just ordinary people. Ordinary lives. Having spectacular, magnificent visions and dreams. And God does that because somebody with some theological training and everything could be shrewd and manipulate and know a lot of symbols and things that they can put their own twist onto it. And that's why God used people that are novice, because all they can do, they're just honest reporters. They can't twist and contort visions or dreams. Like, you got a lot of charlatans doing that anyway. And God talked about them. He said, warned them. He said, the Lord said, I haven't said. You got a lot of false prophets running around. This one guy became a multi-millionaire and a major star in the so-called church world. And all he was a false prophet. He wrote a book and prophesied in 1984 the end of the world, coming to Christ. And he's still being heralded as some type of prophet. He's a false prophet. The Bible said, test a prophet, what he says come to pass, and that's 100%. A lot of false prophets running around saying the Lord said and the Lord hadn't said. That's why God uses just ordinary plain people. He uses firemen, construction workers, and people in impoverished countries living in a hut or a teepee to fulfill His word and to give prophetic events and to warn us of the afterlife. And it shall come to pass afterwards that I will pour my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your old men shall dream dreams, and the young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. And I will show wonders in the heavens and the earth. There's all kind of strange anomalies happening in the sky right now. People around the world, people are hearing, seeing strange things happen. I believe the veil is getting thin. And interdimensional beings are being shown more and more as time winds down. And in the end times, the veil is going to be totally rent. And men's heart, Christ said, is going to fail because of fear of hell coming to the surface of the earth eventually. And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. Earthquakes are popping off around the world. Strange anomalies in the sky. People seeing anti-gravitic devices, spaceships. It's going to be part of Satan's deception. He's going to fool the whole world. It's coming as a false savior from outer space. And they got their cosmic Jesus already in the wings. The Antichrist, the false prophet. It's going to fool the nations of the world using fallen angel technology that they've taught me. All this technology you see is fallen angel technology, including your iPhones and your TVs, all they conceived in hell. All of it. And Satan uses it to manipulate the minds in me. Much easier than using old witches and wizards. Still got them too back in the day, but Hollywood is taking that place. And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon unto blood, before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. Jesus returned. And he's not coming as good old loving, sweet Messiah Jesus, like a lot of the honey drippers paint him as. He does give love and grace to those he called, but he's coming. God is loving and sweet. He's coming as a lion of the tribe of Judah to execute judgment and wrath. God Almighty on his earth. And he's going to wipe out millions of people. We're going to read that in a minute. And see, that taught, and that side should be taught of Christ as well. There's no balance in the church. Everything's gooey, honey dripping. There's no teaching on the fear of the Lord. The Bible said, fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And depart from evil is understanding. There's no teaching on hell. Get my teaching, things not taught in the church anymore. I think that's the title. Where I go into detail on everything not taught. All they teach is love and grace and all that, but they don't teach the other side. There's no balance. Jesus taught two-thirds more in hell than he did heaven. Now, I'm following the founder of the church. I'm not following sister, brother better than you and sister holy than. I'm not following you. I'm following what Christ said. I don't care what you say. He said they love to isolate it, but you teaching. Too many babes and sure babe tards. Get that video. That's all they want to camp on, is the goody stuff of the Bible. The Bible said, knowing therefore the terror of the Lord, we persuade me in Hebrews. I think it's Hebrews 4. I know the terror of the Lord. He took me to hell and showed me terror. And I've been terrorized ever since. And I'm trying to terrorize you with the terror of the Lord, so you don't go to hell. That's our mission. Our mission statement. That ain't taught on anymore. Just all the goody stuff. I've taught on that too. I teach on grace. Teach on what you would consider the good things of God, but also teach the other side. Jesus said, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth unto destruction. It's going to be zillions in here. Because straight is the gate, narrow is the way to eternal life, and few there be that find it. This is Christ's talk. Quote me. Few. Satan is getting them in by the droves. And that we as the church is supposed to tell the world that you're going to be judged. And you're going to be thrown into a real lake of fire with the fallen angels and Satan and his crew. That's what our mission statement is supposed to be. And you as a Christian, you're negating what Christ told you to do if you're not teaching on that. All you teach on is goody. You imbalanced. And you will be judged. Christ made that very clear. No balance in the church world. I ain't even talking about the prosperity pimps, and don't let me get started with them. And teaching of mammon, demon of greed, or the Jezebel whore from Rome / Babylon. And let me start with that either. New Age gospel, cosmic Christ, one world religion, love, and all that, which is from the occult. It's all the hippie movement and the flower power children taught love. Do as thou wilt love. That's what they mean. Love with orgies and that type of love. Fleshly love. Not the love of God. Jesus said, if you love me, keep my commandments. And it shall come to pass, whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord hath said, and in the remnant whom the Lord shall call. A few. Always a few when you deal with the Bible. A few on the ark. A few that was rescued from Sodom and Gomorrah. He wiped out millions. Wiped out millions during the flood. And then the day of the Lord, it's going to be a remnant. A few. That's saved. A few that get it. Jesus said, watch and pray that you be worthy to escape the day of temptation that's going to come on the whole world. Jesus gave us an order. He talked about give a teaching on the 10 virgins. Give a teaching on the 10 virgins. Jesus said, be sober and vigilant, because I'll come an hour when you think not. The rapture is going to be a surprise. And I believe in the rapture. I'm taught on to give my teaching on the rapture. The video. I think that's the title. All right. Now verse 3, 1, Joel. For behold, in those days and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. God's going to let the Antichrist and his people take Judah into slavery and into bondage. And I also gather all the nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Now Jehoshaphat is the same as Megiddo. The valley of Megiddo, same thing. And I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel. Whose heritage? God's heritage. God said, you come against them, you come against me. Whom they have scattered among the nations that I spoiled, and parted my land. God don't want his land parted up. Now that's going to be part of the treaty. Well, I believe with the Palestinians. Yeah, a nation that, the United Nations has been working on that, to divide that land up, and God don't want to divide it up. He gave it to Abraham and his descendants. He don't want it. Not 1 square inch divided up. Abraham walked and hoofed that whole land, and God made a promise. Well, actually, he swore on Abraham by himself, which he could swear no higher, that land would be his and his descendants, and not to be divided up, parted up in any way, shape, or form. Not a square inch to be given to the heathen and the pagan. But that's going to be the bone of contention in the last days. To bring peace, and the Jews want their temple built, so they're going to concede and go against God's orders and divide the land up to get their temple. They'll do anything to get their temple. And they're going to sign a covenant with death, as Daniel talked about. The Antichrist. And they cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot. That's what's going on today. Child sex trafficking. Their kids are going to be child sex trafficked. That's already child sex trafficking. Satanic ritualistic abuse. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they may drink. Now the wine that you thinking of is not wine like literal wine. It's oil. Yea, and what have we to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will ye render to me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, I will return your recompense on your own head. Your arms are too short to box with God. God's talking to the Arab nations. Talking to Egypt. Talking to Turkey. It's going to be, I believe, the Antichrist is going to ascend from. Because ye have taken all my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasure things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them up out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head, and will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people afar off, for the Lord hath spoken it. Now we're going to go let me finish this. I'm going to read this, and this is good. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand, is God talking, to the children of Israel, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people afar off, for the Lord has spoken it. And the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Time to go to war. The Bible says there's a time for war, time for peace. That's what a lot of Christian beatniks don't understand. Time to hate and a time for love. They just stuck in one mode. And let all the people of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen. It's God talking. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause the mighty ones to come down, O Lord, and let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's the valley of Megiddo, Armageddon. God's calling them to battle. He's going to gather all the nations to wipe them out. For there will I sit and judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats, and then vats, overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near, in the valley of decision. Armageddon, the valley of Megiddo. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining.